This is where I place the memory bottle and leave behind a piece of the Diana family forever. Our second dive has been bittersweet. For Carrie, it was an incredible achievement. She has become the 13th woman in history to dive the Doria, earning her place among an elite group of world-class divers.
I made it.
For Richie and me, it was a bust. We couldn't get inside the wreck, but we were able to accomplish one of our objectives.
We got up directly above the area of the collision. We took the bottle that we got from Angelina and Jerry, put it into a space where it would drop down into the collision area. Nobody will ever disturb it.
We've honored the Diana family and the memory of their loss, but we still haven't reached the point of impact. The deterioration is preventing us from getting deep inside. We're going to make one final attempt to penetrate the wreck.
And John, we discussed the dive plan. Let's go over it one more time.
Right, you and I are going to try and split up. We're going to try and cover a little bit more ground. I'm going to head up towards the bow and see what I can find out there that might give us some more information about the sinking. You're going to head inside and try and see if you can get down towards the area of the impact.
So let's keep it tight, careful.
Right.
Any problem, flash your light, and we're out of there.
I like it.
Let's go.
This is our last chance to unearth the mystery of the Andrea Doria. We're on our third dive to the wreck of the Andrea Doria. It's our last chance to reach the point of impact, the one location that has remained elusive since the day of the collision. At only 40 feet, the current picks up. It hits us like a freight train. It takes every bit of strength just to hold on and not be ripped off the line into oblivion. But at 80 feet, it shows no sign of weakening. We struggle for 15 minutes, but the current's too much. We have no choice. We'll have to abort our dive and return to the surface.
The water was cooking. The current was really rolling. It's one of those days where you kind of say, what am I doing here?
We had to change the dive plan on the fly. The current down there is roaring. It just seems that sometimes this wreck doesn't want to give anything up.
Often, wreck diving is man versus nature. And this time, nature wins.
So that means we gotta head back to land and we gotta find out more.
It's likely the point of impact may never be seen by human eyes. Still, what we saw on our two dives is invaluable to our investigation. We've collected video of the wreck and hundreds of visual references. But it's all in pieces. Between the lack of visibility and the huge size of the wreck, there's no way a diver can see the whole picture.
Substantial foyer deck, of course, is not.
But a maritime illustrator can.
I think the foyer deck is.
Using our video and information, he may be able to reconstruct an image of the entire wreck clearer than anything we could hope to see underwater. We're with maritime artist Ken Marshall. Now, Ken created a painting of the Andrea Doria as she lay on the bottom back in 1991. And what we're trying to do is give him the information that he needs to update the painting.
Sadly, that's not what she's looking like as of last week.
Right. And I think most dramatically, the superstructure here, gone. See how that transitions there? It's like, there's nothing.
It's ripped.
You mentioned that it's just like 25 feet down from the high point of the wreck. The debris field seems to start to go out.
Actually, the entire hull has compressed about 5 feet, creating a massive debris field.
Gee. It's just not what I remember from before. It's just as if the wreck is melting away.
More structure. Ken's brought us a first draft of an updated Doria illustration. These are the plates from the We're hoping he can re-illustrate a more accurate picture of what the Doria looks like today. While Ken works his magic in the studio, we are going to take advantage of computer technology to go back in time and experience the actual collision at the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy in Kings Point, New York. Here, mariners took the navigational coordinates, logbooks, and testimonies to build a computer simulation that recreates the events leading up to the moment of the accident. We're here with Captain Mern at the United States Merchant Marine Academy. And they've taken all of the data from the Andrea Doria collision and they've plugged it into their real-time simulator so their students can study this collision. We're actually going to experience the collision from the bridge of the Stockholm.
Yes, we're going to start at 2300 near the end of Carson Johansson Watch. And we're on the bridge of the Stockholm. She's outbound from New York. She's on a heading of 093 eastbound. He picked up the PIP, the Andrea Doria, right of his heading flare-ship.
The recreation shows that despite poor weather and visibility, both captains allowed their ships to approach each other at full speed, leaving little margin for error. They're traveling at an excessive rate of speed. Was it a little bit over or a lot?
For the conditions?
Yes,
for
the conditions.
A lot.
Still, both ships had radar and could see each other coming. Unfortunately, each interpreted their radar differently. On the Doria, Captain Calamai assumed they would pass starboard to starboard, while third-class officer Karstens on the Stockholm thought they'd pass port to port. But at the time, there was no way to let each other know what their intentions were.
We now have bridge-to-bridge communications, VHF. If only it had in those days, if only they could have talked to one another and spoke to one another. They didn't have in those days.
Still, excessive speed and lack of communication aren't the whole story. There's something else we've never heard before.
I think the major cause of this accident is misinterpretation of the radar.
Aboard the Stockholm, Officer Karstens may have assumed his radar was on a 15-mile range setting, when it was really on a 5-mile range. At the 15-mile range, each ring represents 3 miles. At the 5-mile range, each ring is only 1 mile.
He counted out 3, 6, 9, 12 miles away. In reality, however, you'd have to read 1, 2, 3, 4 miles away.
3 minutes before the collision, Officer Karstens believes the Doria is 6 miles away, when in reality, she's only 2 miles away. Now, we've just changed our course,
That's
Captain.
right. We've changed course now to heading 112. This is a critical point now. Carson Johansson is altering course to starboard.
Had the Doria actually been further away, as Officer Karstens assumed, his right turn would have left both ships unharmed. Instead, that turn sends him directly into the path of the Doria.
So if you look on the port bow, you'll see what he saw for the first time. The starboard side of the Andrea Doria appearing right out of the fog.
There's nothing to do right
Too late.
With Captain Mern's theory, misinterpretation of the radar, we've got a brand new piece of the puzzle. But what about actual eyewitnesses? The seamen on the bridge that night. What did they see? I've come to Gothenburg, Sweden to talk to the man who was at the helm of the Stockholm, Ernst Karstens Johansson. He shared with me what he remembers of that night when he first saw the Doria.
I saw her on the radar. I think it was 12 miles away. And then I began to plot her. I didn't think to collide at all. I know where she was.
The Doria's captain, Piero Calamai, passed away in 1972. Today, the Doria's second-class officer Guido Badano in Rome, Italy, recalls what Calamai told him about the collision in the Doria's final moments.
On the contrary, we were very close. We were not so far. Captain Calamai saw nothing. He was in fog.
Maritime standards require all ships to have green lights on their starboard side and red lights on their port side. Karstens claims he saw the red lights of the port side of the Doria and assumed a port-to-port crossing. Then the Doria turned into him.
It was red to red, clear. If they keep their course, nothing would happen, but they turned with full speed. I couldn't do anything.
Badano claims Captain Calamai assumed a starboard-to-starboard passing and that the Stockholm made a sharp turn into her starboard side.
Doria did nothing. The other one arrived on top of her with a turn of 90 degrees to the starboard.
Even today, we are left with two different versions of the Stockholm-Doria collision. But because of the assumptions made on each ship, modern technology, even radar, couldn't have prevented this maritime tragedy.
I mean, I know what I need, and I stand for what I need.
So let's sum up. What did we learn?
Well, first of all, we know that both vessels were traveling way too fast for the weather conditions that night.
Second, aboard the Stockholm, Karstens made two major mistakes. The first, he misinterpreted his radar. Second, as a junior officer, when there was doubt on that bridge, he was obligated to get his captain up there, which is something he didn't do.
Finally, the maritime industry really had no system in place where these two vessels could talk wheelhouse to wheelhouse. You've got one wheelhouse thinking they're going to pass port to port. The other one thinks they're going to pass starboard to starboard. That makes an accident almost inevitable.
Since the day after the sinking, Captain Calamai has bore the brunt of the blame for the loss of the Andrea Doria.
You know, if our investigation tells us anything, it's that there's plenty of blame to go around for everybody who was involved with this collision.
Though we were never able to reach the point of impact, we have helped maritime illustrator Ken Marshall capture the increasing deterioration of the wreck. In contrast to the wreck Ken first illustrated back in 1991, it's amazing to see the devastating deterioration from the last 10 years on the bottom of the North Atlantic. The Andrea Doria will always be a symbol. Whether you look at her as a deep wreck that tests those who dive her, or as the majestic luxury liner she once was. Either way, the Andrea Doria, like the Titanic, reminds us of the price of hubris and the limits of technology.
The whole thing seems very